Hello, this is Kimmy from Scrap Therapy. Hey, so yesterday I was at the thrift store and I picked up some of these cute little frames and I just thought they were adorable. I ended up getting 6 that are really similar and I'm going to work on 2 today. So what I did is I just popped out this little plastic little button doom hicker thing here and I just popped that out and then slid out this, and in here there's glass and this picture, but on the back of this they had cut just a piece of really nice chipboard and put it on the backing. So I'm going to take it and flip it around and we're going to use it for our base, and then I'm going to make sure this is going the right direction, going up, because here's my hanger spot, and we'll put this picture just on the back, just in case one day I ever decide I want to maybe put this picture somewhere. I doubt that, but hey, you never know. Anyways, and then we'll put these little doom hicker thingies back in there, those little guys. Okay, so then here's the top of my frame, and so then there's the frame, the kind of blank frame that I have to start with. And I wanted to say, if you get a lot of glare, I'm really sorry. I have the most amazing lighting in my art studio, which is great for me, but sometimes the glare can be a bit intense on the projects I'm working on. So I'll try to kind of move it a little bit just so that you can get a good view without glare. And of course, it's hard for me to see that because the iPad is above me. So, all right, now I had started this video and then my iPad slid and kind of landed on filming the wall. So I had done just a couple little things here. So I took some of these Prima art bubbles. They're just like a little plastic little art bubble. And I just used hot glue and I glued 3 of them on to my frame. Okay, so that was one step there. And then the other thing that I was just in the process of doing is taking some of the art stones by Prima and I was applying those. So that's where we'll pick up again. So I've got my little frame here. You can see this one here. I've started and I've got quite a bit on there. Now a lot of the times I would use a liquid glue to put on my art stones, and I probably will use this just to add a couple, but I kind of was feeling impatient and wanted it to go a little faster, so I decided to use some hot glue instead. Okay, so I'm just taking my hot glue gun and just kind of putting a big puddle of it. Now the glue is going to show up, so I don't want it to be like too chunky and ugly, right? I want to be careful that it's going to look good. I'm going to paint everything white. I'm going to prime it all, but still that will show up. Okay, so there you go, just like that. It kind of sticks to the hot glue quite nicely wherever I put that hot glue. So I'm going to just keep going and I'll add these art stones in and around. Okay, so I've got all of those art stones glued on where I wanted, and I've got them dried up. So hopefully they're going to be nice and dry and stable as I go to prime these canvases now, these picture frames. So I'm going to use this Heavy Gesso by Art Basics Prima, and I love this stuff because it is heavy, and I most of the time only have to do one coat, so I like that. So I'm just gonna use that and gently paint over everything. So I'm gonna paint over the art stones. So I'm gonna be careful around those art stones because some of them I ended up using the white liquid glue, and so I did heat dry them, but it takes glue a little while to dry, so I'm just not going to push those around too hard. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and prime this up with this Heavy Gesso. Okay, so I have my picture frames completely primed. So I'm going to set those aside and let those dry. And I've got a bunch of pieces here, and I die cut them out of chipboard. So I'm going to kind of face them different ways. And again, I have no plan really. I'm kind of winging it. Oh, this one's kind of broken. Oop, that one too, but we'll use those little bits somewhere. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go with it, and we're gonna paint these up. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to just set this aside for a second, and I'm gonna spray my frames. So I've got these gorgeous Lindy's sprays. This one here is called Tainted Love Teal. And I've got this one, Moonlit Moonberry, I think it's called. Mulberry, Moonlit Mulberry. All the powders at the bottom. I think I filled them too full. That's what you got to be careful, because then you don't get enough air in there, and then they don't want to mix up. And then I also have Time Travel Teal. And so I'm going to use these three colors. Nope. Okay, so I have my picture frames all primed up and ready to go, and now I'm going to spray them with some Lindy's sprays. And I just love Lindy's sprays. They're so beautiful. The colors are so amazing. And so I'm going to use this one. It's called Tainted Love Teal. And this one, Time Travel Teal. So we'll see what kind of a difference we can see with these two colors. This one's quite a bit greener and this one's quite a bit bluer, so I thought they'd be a good complement. And then this one here is Moonlit Mulberry, and I thought that would be nice too. So you got to give them a good shake, and then we're gonna spray right onto our frames. So actually I'm gonna just take and I'm gonna just put this here, and I'm going to spray both of them at the same time. Okay, so let's start out with our Tainted Love Teal. It's the first time I've used this one. Oh my Lanta, I love it. Okay. And then let's add some Time Travel Teal. Oh yeah, see how it is? Just a little different. Not a huge difference though. And some Moonlit Mulberry. Oh, this is a Moon Shadow Mist. So this is one of the ones, I didn't realize that. It has a brown undertone to it. So it's going to have this kind of purpley mauve color, but it also has a brown undertone. Whereas these ones are just the regular Starburst sprays, and so they're just full on color. So that's actually a really cool surprise. I like that because I love brown and teal together. So, and then it'll have a little bit of a purple. Once it dries, it's going to have a bit of a purple in there. Beautiful. Okay, so now I just want to tip them up and spray the sides. And get it all over my hands, of course, which I'm good for. Okay, darken that up just a little bit over there. Oh, wow, I love the colors. Okay, this is just stunning. Love it, love it. Okay, so I'm gonna actually set that aside, and then I'm gonna start painting some pieces that we're gonna put on top. Okay, so I've got all these pieces here that I'm going to use, and I don't have an exact plan as to what I'm doing quite yet, but we're going to paint these up. So for these, I'm going to use some different kinds of paints that I love to use, Maya Gold and Precious Metals. So this Maya Gold is the turquoise, and then this Maya Gold is gold, and this precious metal is called blackberry. So these are all water-based. They are sparkly, beautiful color, and they are a paint. So if you purchase these, you need to make sure that every once in a while, oh, and I keep the foil on top to try and keep them lasting as long as possible. But you can see how they kind of start to dry out. They are paint. So I just take some clean water and I just kind of add it in there and stir it up. And it's a good idea to add some water and to do that every kind of couple months, just so that these will last as long as possible. So I'm going to take them and paint it right on top of there. Look at that gorgeous color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint all of these, and then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm just going to push those paints out of the way, and I'm going to let all those pieces dry. I like to just pull them up off of the paper towel just to make sure that they're not going to stick to my paper towel. Okay, let's set that aside to dry. All right, so now I'm going to bring back my frames. I have dried them, and I have now collected some more colors of the Lindy sprays. I really wanted purpley pink in here, right? And I've got it in my my pieces that I'm painting up here. So I wanted to add some kind of purpley pink. So I kind of am thinking this one. So what I'm going to do for this is called Magnolia Magenta Gold, and it's a starburst spray. And I'm going to actually take it and I'm going to open the bottle. And I'm going to use, just using a little paintbrush here, and I'm going to just pick the color right up out of there, and I'm just going to kind of add it in And so my canvas is dry, my frames are dry, and I'm just adding this color just flat right onto it because I want it concentrated, but I want it in specific areas, right? So if I was to spray, then it would just kind of go everywhere and it would be on the teal, and I want this just a bit more concentrated as to where it's going to go. So let me do some painting. Okay, so now I'm going to dry that up and then we'll move on to the next stage. So those are all done. I'm going to set those aside, and I've got these fun rulers from Tim Holtz Ideology, and I'm just going to spray those, and I'm going to use that moon shadow mist that I used earlier, the Moonlit Mulberry, and it had that brown undertone with the kind of purpley pink. And I'm just going to give those a little spray. And I'm actually going to just spray a little bit of water in there too, just to thin it out a little. Okay, so that's great. Now I'll set those aside to dry. My goodness, it's like do something, dry, do something, dry. So I also have taken a whole bunch of leaves, these metal ones, and I put on the Maya Gold. So that Maya Gold that I had used at the beginning, I took a bunch of different leaves, different sizes and shapes, and I just put some of that that Maya Gold on there. Okay, so those are also drying, and we'll get to those in a little bit. All right, so now we're going to come back to the canvases. And what I like to do is kind of take all of my supplies that I've collected and just kind of divvy it up. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces here, but you can see when I start to lay these on top that they're going to get lost on here, right? My colors are also similar, which is great. They're beautiful, but they're going to get lost. So I did a bunch of die cutting, and I've got some different kinds of leaves. I have this kind, and I have some of this kind of grassy stuff, and I have a little bit of this, and I have just a couple of these. And so I'm going to use a whole bunch of white because the contrast with all of my color will look amazing. So I'm going to start to kind of divvy up this stuff into different piles. So I kind of just pile stuff one on each side, and then this is my bonus piece and some of these. So I've got like 3 of those per canvas. Okay, all right, so I've also got all of these leaves, and I did 5 for each side of those large ones. And I have to decide what I had originally wanted and see how my colors are too similar there. So I'm going to flip that because these are going to go side by side. I think I'm going to put all of the gears on one, and then on the other side is going to go this lamppost. Okay, so and then I've got my pieces here. So I've got 2 there, 1 there, and oh, I guess that's it. So I'm gonna have to put, this guy's broken, so I'm gonna put 2 over there and 2 there, and then I'll keep that broken guy in the middle, and I'll use him just in little places. Okay, so I'm going to dry up those rulers and then we're going to start to glue this together. So my rulers are dry and I have cut them in half. I did lengths and I put them on speeder cider. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to start gluing and breathe until this is the exciting part. Here we go. Now I'm going to use some collage medium, and I love using this as my glue. It's the matte and everything dries clear, and so I'm just going to apply some beads with I've just got some different kinds of beads here, and I'm going to apply this Distress Collage Medium. So my last couple steps here, I wanted to show you. So I had used these letters. They are the letterboard letters from Die Cuts with a View. I cut them apart, and then I used the Distress Collage Medium in the matte to glue them on. So you can see, if you look really close, you can see that they're still wet, that glue that's in there. But it's a really great glue. It'll hold it on, it'll last. Then I took just a little bit of this Glitter Ritz Cool Highlight, and I just took a pinch of it and just kind of sprinkled it over top of everywhere that I had already put the collage medium. And then I put just a little bit on the butterflies as well, the collage medium, and sprinkled on a tiny bit of the glitter. And there I go. It is all finished. My two beautiful pieces that say Dream Art. And I hope you're inspired by this to create something fun today. And please check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, Scrap Therapy. Thanks for watching. Bye.